Good morning, my name is Ryan Jones, and I'm going to talk to you about an issue with the military promotions process. The officer promotions process consists of three main categories: time and service, time and grade, and selection boards. Time and service is how long you've been in the military, so how long you've been enlisted or how long you've been commissioned. It doesn't matter. It can be in any branch, any service, just how long it's been since you joined the military, since you've raised your right hand, gone through the medical processing and everything like that. Time and grade is how long you've been in your current rank. So how long you've been in your current position. So if you've been the equivalent of a section leader in a business for 3 years, then according to the military, once you reach that 3-year mark, then you are then eligible for promotion to, let's say, a branch manager. The selection boards consists of three main things: an OER, or an officer evaluation report, an APFT, or the Army Physical Fitness Test, and an interview. And the interview is where you will go personally in front of several senior officers, and you will have to sell yourself for the next position. An officer evaluation report. It has three main components to it. There is the OER support form, which is filled out by the individual. So the person being reviewed by the OER fills out a section, and they try to shape what they've done for the past evaluation period, which is usually 365 days or a year. A rater, which is usually their first line leader. So if you are just a floor worker, then the person rating you will be the equivalent to your production manager. The senior rater is the person who goes back and reviews the entire evaluation report. They usually don't actually write anything. They usually only check it for errors and check and make sure it has enough information, and they might put some sticky notes on it, make some corrections, and send it back to the rater to be corrected. An officer evaluation report. This is what the first page looks like. This top third right here, that's where the individual will fill out all their information. This is it's called their duty description. It's where the individual being reviewed fills out all this information about what they've done for the past reviewing period, so they can make themselves look good. And down here at the bottom, that's where the rater starts to use different categories, different defined categories, and they say, has this person fulfilled this duty, yes or no? And on the back, the top portion, the rater rates them based on an outstanding, satisfactory, unsatisfactory, or an other category. In the other category, they can explain sort of where they are and why they aren't one of those three categories. And then below that is they'll write a paragraph similar to the paragraph that the person being reviewed writes about themselves, but they will write it from a superior's point of view. And then down here at the bottom is more information for the rater to fill out to evaluate the person being reviewed. The issue with this process is that the Army doesn't utilize, or this process isn't effective in identifying good leaders. And a good leader is someone who inspires and motivates the people underneath them to complete any task that's necessary for them to complete. And this process, since it doesn't take into account how he leads the individuals below him or her, and how they interact with the leader, there's no real way for the military to retain or to reject or not retain any individuals who are not good leaders. Potential solutions would be peer evaluations. So everyone in that person's unit who's on the same level as them. So if I was a second lieutenant, other second lieutenants would be rating me based on how they see me leading the people underneath me. And then another possibility would be a login controlled online survey. The military uses something called a CAT card, which is a common access card, and you can use that to then have them log into an online survey, and so that only one person can vote one time. And you can have a bunch of survey questions where they'll fill out a survey rating their superior, and this will be anonymous, so the superior won't know who said what. And the third option is experienced subordinates will be the primary reviewers instead of the person right above them. And by experienced, what I mean is they'll have approximately 6 or 7 years in the military, and then about 3 years in a junior leadership position, such as a team leader, a squad leader, and a team leader is in charge of 3 to 5 people, and a squad leader is in charge of 8 to 10 people. In conclusion, I personally think it would be best if it would be experienced subordinates as primary reviewers. This is because the experienced subordinates will have been in the military long enough to experience a bunch of different leaders in the same position that that person will be getting reviewed for. So they will have seen other people and how they do the same job. So they'll have a history to compare their current leader to. And they also will have gone to several military leadership schools, because every time you rank up past your first 3 years, you have to go to a school to get promoted. The only issue with this option is that it may cause leaders to then kind of like suck up to their subordinates, or try to be buddy-buddy, or just overall just try to get them to give them a good review because they have a superiority over them. So it may cause a little bit of an issue with leadership and how that person affects and leads the people underneath them. However, to counteract that, a good leader and someone who will be rated well by this system won't need to do that in order to be rated well, and they will know that they just need to do what's right in order to get rated well. Implementing this process, what it will do, it'll improve morale, and it'll improve the overall quality of officers in the United States Army. And how it'll improve the quality is the current process is based on a senior reviewing a subordinate. And they can't really tell who's a good leader, who's a bad leader, so they're just going off how that person follows them. And that's not what we need to be looking for. We don't need to be looking for somebody who can follow well. We need to be looking for someone who can lead well. So this process will identify those leaders who can lead well, and it won't make or rely on that person to be able to sell themselves for what they've done and how they've been able to do it. Another way it'll improve the military is it will improve the morale of everyone in the military, because then they know that it's going to be the most effective leader who gets promoted and not the one who can sell themselves the best. And it'll also improve how the junior leaders view their seniors, because they know they've been reviewed by people before and they know that they've passed through this process. And it'll also make the junior leaders feel like they really have a say-so in who's in charge of them. In my citations, I used the top one is the officer evaluation report earlier in the presentation, and the bottom one is a basic presentation about the officer evaluation report process.